All right, guys, we are live on the Red Room. This is episode 102. Here with Luke, Tracy, and Ray, and his name's the banker. So he's confident in his creative deals when he can when he can put his he can just call himself the banker. But
Right?
little update on the market. It's the end of July, so seasonality is coming into effect. We got August, September, October. Never usually just gangbuster months for any of us. Now, the inventory has worked its way down from like 28,000 and change down to in the 24s. I looked yesterday,
Oh,
24,500. And every time I mention that, everybody's like, oh, everybody's canceling sold. I don't care if they're taking their house off the market. It's less inventory for people to make a decision. I don't care if it doesn't sell. If they just want to cancel and then they're going to avoid seasonality and avoid the fall. Great. Still, if you have 5 houses in a subdivision and now you have 3 houses in the subdivision and there's less to choose from, it's still better for your seller, in my
for
opinion.
sure.
You see anything different out there, Luke?
Um, no, I mean, wholesalers still sending deals out. Majority of them still don't make sense, but you know what? From time to time, you can find one.
And
Yep.
then just a little commercial here. I know Tracy has been working with my virtual assistant. I know she has a class starting, I don't know, in 2 weeks, a week, 1st August, somewhere in there. I didn't read the entire email. Sorry, Trace.
You're good, man. Yeah, it's
But,
done.
Go ahead.
It starts August 1st, and it's actually going to be the last session of Flip School for this year. So we're talking about seasonality. For those of you that want to be prepared to really take advantage of the spring selling season, 2026, the students that are in this cohort are going to be the ones that are organized and ready to be able to capitalize on that. So if you're thinking you want to flip, you've been on the fence, send me a DM. Let's get on a call because this will be my last Flip School session of the year.
Heck yeah.
And then Tracy will just put the link in there while we're chatting with Ray. Ray's camera's gone. Ray, you there? We ready to go? What do we got? His camera's gone.
Ray likes to be mysterious.
All right, so just until he gets his camera back up and running, by the way, he did turn off his. Oh, there he's back.
There he is.
All right, so Ray, give us a little background. How you guys started? When you decided to become the bank?
My name is Ray Spencer. Most people, my close friends, they call me the banker. I started about 6 years ago wholesaling, trying to push my business up to 6 figures. Once I got to 6 figures, we started pushing behind Carlos Reyes to get 6 figures a month. That was way back when. And then we started jumping into commercial, moving apartments all across nationwide. And then I started moving into creative financing space and doing a lot of novations, a lot of subject twos, lease options, contract for deeds, land contracts. And then I became into this space where I started to just leverage how to create mortgage notes.
All right, so I mean, you traveled a good distance and a lot of stuff over 6 years, and we talk about all that stuff here on the Red Room. But so were you one of Carlos's students, or is that how that got started? You just partnered with Carlos, or?
No, I don't know. You remember, Chris, when Carlos was the first one in Phoenix, Arizona that was really pushing like 6 figures in a month.
Yeah.
And then for me and my operation, we kind of took pursuit behind that. Not a student of Carlos, good friend of mine. But we started pushing like, okay, can we do the same thing and start making $1 million a year operation? So we were pushing the same, PPC campaigns and trying to really get that 6 figure a month operation going, which is tough as hell, but it's doable.
Yeah, so I mean, you're using all these tactics. You're still wholesaling. You're still innovation. You're just using them all, right?
Yeah, my model now is shifted more. I only buy in the hood, mostly Phoenix, Arizona, Sunny Slopes, South Phoenix. Anything near 27th Ave is my sweet spot. So if you're from Arizona, Phoenix, you know about 27th and Indian School to Van Buren. Those are my sweet spots. Those are my areas where I get probably the better amount of deals. I buy through a whole bunch of different wholesalers in the valley. I'm getting tons of deals from these guys, especially some of the young guns, Chris, that you had out the other day. I buy tons of deals with these guys, but most of my stuff is on market too. I get a lot of deals on market.
Okay.
So we have a certain outline as a fix and flipper to say this is a good deal. You're doing a ton of deals when a lot of people have seen their volume slow. What do you define as a good deal?
What I look at is if it's on market, and I'll give you my on market strategy. My on market stuff is I'm looking for deals that right now there's a small window because wholesalers and sellers have not shifted their numbers in their marketing, right? So on market, I'm starting to see stuff go pending, right? So I'm tracking these down because the agent doesn't know what they're doing, right? It needs a lot of work, and they're really getting desperate for an actual buyer, right? So a lot of wholesalers are switching to the investor agent model, and they're not getting these deals sold because they haven't changed their numbers yet. So a lot of these I come in after I see them pending a few times, I know they're looking for me, the actual buyer, and I come in with a good solid offer, solid MD. I walk the property. I might do dual agency with the agent to kind of butter it up, and these are the ones I'm kind of taking it down. It makes my life easy because I can come in with a hardcore EMD, probably $15,000-$30,000 down. And still buy them. And the agent's looking at that like, hey, he's already walked it, no inspections, he's putting $15K down, like no brainer. But my offer is I'm buying like 30-40% on the dollar.
Now, Ray, majority of the time, are you being creative with these offers, or is it just a regular cash offer?
It depends. I try to shoot cash first. Anytime you're doing creative, it's always cash first, just to kind of see where they're at. If they're kind of stuck on a number, and then I'll kind of shift it into a novation. And I mean, I go between like a wholesale novation or a fix and flip novation. It means either I'm going to wholesale it and get it to a new buyer, or I'm going to take it down with the seller, do the rehab, and then we'll put it back on the market with the agent.
I can.
So what? So you doing the on market? What are you using for your marketing channels for the off market stuff currently?
I mean, I'm known in the valley, so I get every email, text come directly to me from everybody. I think as of this moment, I wholesale too, but most of the wholesalers in the valley and all across the country, they're getting really desperate. So a lot of they can't move deals. There's a lot of stuff not moving. I got people begging me to buy deals. Buy this, Ray. Where will you buy it at? What's your number? Let me go negotiate it. I'm getting that more so than I was getting in the last 6 months because of the inventory, because things are changing. And there's a lot of buyers right now that are not on the market right now.
And you're shopping in a part of the valley that a lot of people just don't like, right?
Right.
I mean, right or wrong, it's just, you know,
two or three
that 27th Avenue is a tough stretch.
Yeah. And I'm all the way down to the south side. So just did one in Sunny Slope. I got that from Annette and Chris. What's the young guy with the long hair from the young
Matt?
guys? Matt.
Right?
Matt. I got it from these guys. Good project. I got it at like 130 was my offer.
Wow.
Try to move it around. Didn't do it. I got it at 130. I think it was 40 something cents on the dollar. I was able to flip it in like 30 days, put it back on the market, sold for 320.
Yeah. That's awesome. Those are the ones we like, right? The low dollar ones, the low, not a lot of stress in those ones.
Because I don't have too much competition, and a lot of people are not looking towards what I've noticed this, and Chris, you probably know this too. The 300, the 299 property and below are actually moving. The 800,000 properties and above, up to $1 million, also moving. Anything in between there, man, it's a struggle.
100%. I couldn't agree more with that. And I even so much to the fact that we've got properties that we had put on around 350, and we're expecting them to move, and those are stalled right now as well.
Mm.
That
And so
200 mark.
the fact that we went on one of them, we went sub 300, and the second we went sub 300, we went pending.
Mhm.
So kind of funny. And then Ray, I don't know if you're noticing this too, but you said plus 800. We're even noticing anything 8 to a mil. We're listing a couple that are going to be 1.3 and 1.4. That area is moving like crazy right now as well.
I'm not in the luxury market, but I'm in the process of looking for a home in that market to buy it on Creative.
Yeah.
And I can't get anything right now because anything like 1 point something mil is it's getting snatched up.
They're still moving. They're still moving. Yeah, for sure. I mean, my wife just listed one in a really nice area in Gilbert, and it was multiple offers within the first few days. And, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy either. It was a nice house, but nothing crazy. And immediately.
Well, and I think it speaks to how people might see the $1 million properties on Instagram or see other people here established in Phoenix doing those $1 million properties, and they think, well, I'm just going to go from not doing these low flips anymore, right? But I've always stuck to entry level, and it sounds like you've really made your riches and niches by sticking to the like first time price point, entry level, that sort of niche, because I always felt like it's done really well, and it might not be the sexiest, but I don't think you need to be sexy to be extremely profitable.
I think that's the way I look at things. I'm a huge history buff. I study tons of old school books. I'm a new guy in the industry, so I have the history and the experience that like Chris might have.
Right. No one does.
Like, I feel like I need to go back in history and like let me study what these guys were doing back in the day when they were buying stuff at auctions and like what does this market look like. And I noticed that first time homeowners don't really care about interest rates. They're playing the way I kind of break it down. Analogy is like back in the day when you used to do jump rope or double dutch, right? And you got people like, go, your time to get in, your agent's like, yo, go, get in there. Like, this is a good deal, best thing on the market. It just hit like $280, $299. Make your offer, get in there, put a concession of $10K. And I notice agents are pushing that, and these people are not concerned about interest rates. They just want to like make that
be a homeowner.
Be a homeowner at that point. So
right,
it's a good market.
Ray, do you touch much that's going to be like townhomes and condos? Because obviously townhomes, condos, a lot of times you can find those in that sub 300. And if you are finding those, are you seeing that those are still moving just as much as single family homes?
I'm touching condos on it. I don't know if you guys see my stuff on like Instagram and Facebook, but I just bought like a no money down house in Glendale for myself. Moving my mother into a Youngtown property. That's also a no money down creative financing deal. That's a townhouse. I found an old video. Chris is in it. Back in the day when guys used to buy from HOA auctions, right? Okay, I found a video with you in it. Okay, so I use this knowledge and information to understand how the market works right now. A lot of the because of the market stuff is going on right now and people doing creative financing, they're touching a lot of these deals and they don't make sense because the HOAs are failing, they're going bankrupt, they don't have enough capital to maintain. People are paying their mortgages, but they're not paying their HOA fees. So most of the stuff in like townhomes that are not maintenance, need paint. You can kind of tell like the roads are not fixed. You're starting to see the HOA for those townhouses are pushing like 300, 400, creeping up to almost 500, which is crazy in some of these like 43rd Avenue areas, right? So that's the HOA kind of mismanaged, not doing what they need to do. You can actually get a good deal in there as long as you can kind of figure out what's going on with your HOA and do some research. So I am picking up a couple of those.
Cool.
Since you're tracking that, are you seeing any resolve from like what is happening 6 months down the road, year down the road? Like, does the HOA implode and everybody's kind of on their own? Do people come back and put money back in? A new management company comes in and said, hey, everybody give me 20 grand because we need to get this set back up.
There's a few I'm looking at, Chris, that are that's a good question. So on 43rd, in Indian School to be exact. There's one specific apartment right behind Filiberto's. If you know Arizona, you know it. This one is dead. Like you can tell the HOA is they've already filled in the pools. Tons of stuff is going over there with traffic and stuff like that. What I'm noticing with these HOAs is they're fighting like hell to stay in business. They don't want to go out of business. They don't want to go. They're still making capital. They're still bringing in some money. They're just trying to get over this little hump that they're going through. And a lot of them are just kind of just struggling. They're just struggling to try to fix their finances. Some of them are getting bought out by new companies. And it might be some bigger institutional buyers that are buying out these companies to reposition them so they can, perform a little bit better. But I've noticed that they've hit about the 400, 500 HOA fee mark a month, which also brings down the price of the sale. It also drives down the rent. At the same time, and it makes these are starting to creep. For a 3.2 in Phoenix, Arizona, you could probably get a townhouse for about $199 and below. You're going to see these drop down to about probably $120. There's some on the market that are at $120 because of the HOA fee is so high. It's just dropping the prices down.
Right. Well, I mean, sorry, go for it, Trace.
No, go for it. Look.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, it kind of, in a sense, kind of has to drive the prices down, obviously, because, if someone's going to try to get a mortgage on that, obviously any lender is going to look at that HOA fee and say, well, you have to be able to get, approved based off of this HOA fee as well. And I mean, lenders aren't dumb too. They know that HOAs raise the prices pretty regularly. And so, it's another aspect that makes it, difficult, to obviously be able to have prices go up on those types of properties.
Well, I wanted to ask a question along with the same thing that you were talking about earlier, that also it's not the HOA prices, but you had said that there is a delay between what sellers and even wholesalers are running as their underwriting and what you're willing to pay and what most of us as buyers are willing to pay. So you've studied history, but what do you look at for the projection of this? Like, where do you see that intersection happening, or do you see it?
I see prices creeping down, at least in the South Phoenix, Sunny Slopes, Young Towns, West Phoenix, all the West Phoenix, all the way to Glendale. There's a huge disconnect. So you're starting to see, if you're talking to title companies, you're starting to see like more contracts falling out of escrow. You're starting to see, if you're on market, more people pulling stuff off the market. You're starting to see more creative financing deals for like subject to lease options, kind of come into effect. It is creating a crazy. I can't even explain it. It has just such a weird like bubble dynamic where there's probably more deals if you're in creative financing that you can kind of pick up. If you know what you're doing. If it's cash deals, you can get more discounted deals for cash. It may not be like right now, but over time as the sellers and the prices kind of reflect it, things are starting to drop like pretty like 160, 150. 50 cents on the dollar is what I'm buying. A couple of my friends, we're just kind of position our business. We're like, look, we're gonna 150, bro. That's our offer.
Heck yeah.
So I got a question for you. Like, what's kind of the sweet spot for the entry level creative finance deal? I had someone call me yesterday and they're like, hey, Chris, I got this killer deal. It's 3% interest. They're like, the mortgage is $300. I think it's worth $550. I need $200,000 for it. And they had like the mortgage payment to the rent was like $800. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to do a quick. I'm like, I'm not going to look at your deal, but I'm just going to do a quick education. Like, I can put my money out in a hard money loan. It's going to pay me $2,000 a month. I'm not going to buy your asset that's going to pay me $800 a month. But so what's kind of, do you teach anybody like, hey, what's the entry to a creative finance deal that makes it? I mean, obviously zero's awesome, but what's the formula? Oh, hold on, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
That's a hard question, and the reason why is, first of all, yes, I do teach people, and I help most of the guys in the Valley. I help them out with their creative financing deals. I'm on the back end, so most of the, because there's I won't say the name of the community. There's a larger community that is creative financing.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
Whatever, could you?
There's a larger community that is creative financing, so these guys are their tools are sharp. They have very huge, big tools that they're using, but they don't know a lot of stuff about like ROIs. They don't know cap rates. They don't know about entry fees and how much makes sense. They don't understand like, okay, 60,000 down. Who's putting that down right now? Like people are on the sidelines, people are on the fence, people are not making moves. If you start making stuff affordable for entry fee, like 30 and below, you can probably get your deal done very easy. There's a lot of Hispanics, there's a lot of Middle Easterns, there's a lot of immigrants that got 30K sitting on their mattress waiting for a good deal. You can move it. But the problem is there's so many guys who know so much about creative financing and have moved a few deals that you're starting to see deals of like 100K, 200K down. This is what they want, and then they really just don't move.
Yeah.
A good number is 45 and below. I can tell you this from experience, from family and friends and people I hang around a lot of immigrants. I grew up with immigrants. They got about 50 grand sitting underneath the mattress for sure. So
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, just if you even think about just investors, there's times that come up where I'll be like, hey, I'm looking for a rental property. I'm interested in finding something. And it's just that mental thing too, where, if I see something that says 60K down, I'm like, I'm not interested. I'd rather put that into a couple flips and then see what I can turn that into. But you start talking about exactly what you said. You start talking about 25, 30K down, then it's kind of like, I'd buy a rental property for 25K down. You know what I mean? Like I'd buy a good deal and then just hold on to it for 25K. I wouldn't do it for 60. I just wouldn't.
Right.
So I think it's a mental thing as well.
Well, on top of the fact that you wonder how much of that is their fee, right? So if it's like the seller is only requiring like, hey, I'd be fine. Of course, I want my full 100K in equity, but I'll settle for 20K because that gets me moved, pays off a credit card, gets me a new place. And then the rips that a lot of these guys try to make. And again, I never care how much someone makes, but it seems to me that there is a certain amount of greed that is baked into this, that had they been more realistic as the market has fluctuated in the last 3 years, they probably would move these deals a lot more. So instead of trying to make 30, 40K on these wholesales, it's like, man, if you were just cool at 10 or 15 and then it's a win for all of us, you probably move some of this. So when I see those 60, 70K fees, I'm really interested in how much of that is proportion, to the seller versus what the wholesaler's trying to retain as their fee.
I know Chris can break down this whole part, but I'm going to do it as a young guy, right? Chris, you nod your head and say yes or no if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
There was a time when wholesaling came from two different aspects, right? Pocket listings for agents, that was wholesaling for them, and there's wholesaling for wholesalers selling to flippers. Right. There used to be a common method of just 5, 10K gets the deal done, right? Like no one cared. Over time, between gurus and everybody else online, it pushed it to where like people were taking these huge 100K rips. And if you can get it, I've got a few. They're a blessing, right? But trying to get the rip consistently is not going to happen on every deal. And a lot of people don't know the numbers. They're just trying to push things out and try to figure out, can I still get that $30,000 to $60,000 rip? I think affecting the industry a little bit because no one's pivot off the can I take a rip. It's going to go back to the old way of doing things, where you move a deal like 5, 10K, that's cool. You're making 20. Not that anybody's in your pockets. It's just just trying to get the deal done and keep that consistency is going to be where most people need to be at instead of trying to move that one big whale deal. I think now 30, 40K now are becoming the whale type of deals. Those come every few deals now, 5 or 10 done.
Agreed. I think there's too much. I think there's too much competition in today's in the market in general. I don't want to say too much, but there's so much more competition now that it is a lot more difficult to get those 70 to 100s that you used to see. You hear someone getting them now, and it's usually going to be on some big land deal, or it's going to be on something that that some crazy foreclosure, whatever it was. So I mean, those are rare. Those are rare to find now, and I'm 100% with you. We just wholesaled one to Chris 3 days ago, $3,200. So I mean, it is what it is. It's what
that
you
pays
do.
For like one palm tree in your backyard.
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we call
Uh,
them, base hits and home runs, and the whole
yeah.
ideal was, I think almost in any sort of niche that any of us are in, it's just like, man, we're business owners and we have overhead, and I think that there's something to be said about consistency. Like you're known as the guy that puts out good deals, or the gal or the guy that buys consistently, rather than
Mhm.
looking for that huge rip every single time. So, guys, that if you're listening and you're newer, whether it's Ray or Luke or me or Chris, it's like think of base hit, base hit, base hit, base hit, base hit. Oh my God, I got lucky and got a home run.
Right.
If you don't be careful, you're going to be on the next AZ Central commercial, right? You're on equity skimming if you take 100K rips like the person that did on this one.
I hadn't seen this. So
I hadn't seen this either.
It was just out today, so I just the parents are the parents went into old folks home and the daughter started going through what the wholesaler made on the parents' transactions. So it just it hit the AZ Central today. So
Oh wow.
I'll have to look that up.
So a lot of people don't know this, right? It's the market is getting really tight. Deals are becoming more, right? So you definitely got to pivot and shift. But there's starting to be stuff going on in the background that a lot of us don't talk about, as far as the rate of how many foreclosures are going up, how many creative financing deals are being pushed around, right? There's in the background, there's so many creative financing deals being pushed around. Lately, I've been seeing nothing but like sub twos coming across my desk, back to back to back. There is lawsuits going on right now, huge amongst the real estate community. There's people who have been taking rips. There's been a lot of gurus have been getting into some stuff, and there's so much stuff going on in the background that people are more informed about real estate. They're more informed about what's going on, and taking these big rips are, you got to be careful. You got to, like, people are starting to get educated a little bit more because wholesaling is everywhere. So they're starting to know, like, what is wholesaling. Laws are coming in. Things are getting regulated. I think people just need to be careful. If you fly under that radar and do good business, be honest. And I think you're going to be here for a while. And I think the longevity game is the game we all should be playing, because we all want to see this market and come out of this richer than we are right now.
So with that being said, are there any, since you probably coach these guys through, talk to people, in the, industry, you get probably some students that say, hey, I joined this community, but I don't actually know how to do a transaction like this. I noticed that, at first everybody was doing sub 2 deals and they never actually put a way out for the seller, right? So if Mr. Sub 2 buyer took on a property from a seller, 3% mortgage, whatever, and then everything's great. But then the problem, what happens, and I'm not saying it happens to everybody, but the problem that happens is if that buyer gets in some kind of financial situation, they go, "Oh, I'm a little bit of trouble. I'm getting a mortgage payment or a wrap payment in here, and I'm supposed to go pay this payment over here, but the cash feels a lot better in my account." So, and I get calls on that all the time. Like, Chris, how do I get out of this situation? Because I sold it to this sub 2 buyer, but I can't get out of this. Like, I'm like, well, if there's not a a wrap in place in the middle or another document that lets the seller foreclose on the original buyer, there is no way out.
You just hit it on the head. So I've helped a few people. I just helped a title lady, a well-known title lady, right? I can't say who she is, but she had a.
Oh, Ray, I think we have a lag.
Yeah, we lost you.
Man, talk about a cliffhanger.
45 plus.
We lost
you. It was a 45
while,
plus community. Oh, did you? Let me go back. This is a well. Am I good?
Yeah.
All right. This is a well-known title lady in the industry in Phoenix. She did a deal. I structured a deal for her because she couldn't sell it. She couldn't sell it, finance it to someone who wasn't 45. But I showed her how to put the pieces together to sell it through her company and put that person on the LLC where she was still on it and still kind of do a subject to. She ended up doing a deal with a guy. The guy had too many deals, and it wasn't that the cash was better in his pocket. It's just he used creative financing too much. And most of these guys who are younger or just learning creative financing, like you can go out and knock 10 deals out very easy and take over some properties. But a lot of us don't know about reserves. And reserves in this market are important. You're definitely going to need $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 sitting to the sideline, or at least, a capital partner, just in case, you might miss a few payments, and it's going to happen in place. This happened to this guy. She's in a spot where she can't get the house back because she has to foreclose. In that process, she's already going to be about 6 months behind on her bills. Is there a document in there that you can put? Yes, you could do. It depends on how you structure it. It could be a deed in lieu directly to the seller when they get it already signed. If you already did it and it's a subject to, you're in it. You're gonna have to foreclose just to get out of it. And hopefully at that point you're still making payments as the seller, right? To keep on your side, because there's two different sides of the track. There's the entry side and there's the exit side to creative financing, which most people don't know about the entry and the exit.
So it sounds like there's a ton of opportunity, but you really have to be dialed in and not just take a weekend course or trust what you see maybe in some forums or communities, but really make sure that you're covering your bases, like Chris said, so you don't end up on the front page of of Arizona Central. How can people connect with you, Ray?
Instagram at Ray Spencer the Banker. I also do property tours in the valley, so I take people to some of the hood projects. I buy trap houses, I buy sex trafficking houses from in that area, and I give people live walkthroughs for free. If you hit me up on Instagram, I'm on Facebook as Ray Spencer as well, that people can connect me with.
Cool. Thanks for jumping on, Ray. I wanted to just give a little commercial. If you're worried about like what the industry thinks or what the industry is moving towards, this is the second annual year. We're going to have the real estate commissioner at the September event. She's going to come out and talk to like any no-nos that she sees in the business, what she's focusing on. And that's important because if she's got like a little something in the back of her mind and like, I want to pick on the people that are doing this, like you want to avoid doing that. Right.
Right.
So she will be out to the Phoenix RIA. It's the third Tuesday of September. And she's going to talk to us about what she thinks is kind of the no-nos that she's watching for. I like that event just because like, I don't want to be on anybody's radar. I just want to buy and sell properties. Because when you start paying money to lawyers, it changes the game on everything.
Yeah, it does. No doubt about that.
So Ray, we appreciate you jumping on. I'm going to put in the chat his contact information. So hold on. Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
There we go. I'll throw this out for most people because most people don't know why they call me the banker. So a lot of these properties that I buy, creative financing, I buy super deep. I buy with private capital or hard money. And then I do wraparound mortgages on 2 different properties. And I sell one wrap as a note to a 30-year note buyer. And then I keep a second mortgage on it. And I take a super discounted note. And I haven't put down, $10,000, $15,000 down. I hold on to a second, sell the first, and I'm the bank with no money in the deal. So I've been doing those for a while for the hood stuff and selling to the community and fixing up nice properties. And that's why they call me the banker.
Thank you.
There you go. And then you're just collecting checks.
Yeah. Sounds better than the hood banker. So
all right, Ray, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. You guys have a blessed one.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ray.
you.
Nice to meet you.